If you ever meet a person who grew up in the 1970s, you'll notice something strange. They smile differently. They suffer silently. They love deeply. And they fear losing everything they love, even more deeply. Why? Because the 1970s weren't just a decade. It was a school. A tough school. One that produced some of the strongest, most responsible, most emotionally complex human beings we have today. People who grew up in that era carry stories inside them. Stories they never tell, feelings they never name, wounds they never show, and wisdom they never brag about. This video is not about history. It's not about facts. It's about the psychology of an entire generation, what shaped their minds, why they think differently, why they love differently, why they hide their pain, and why they are becoming rare. So sit back and let's enter the world of the 1970s. A world of simplicity, a world of struggle, a world of resilience, a world that built a different kind of human. People born in the 1970s grew up in a world without constant noise. No scrolling, no pings, no notifications, no constant comparisons. Their news feed was the sky. Their stories were shared on rooftops. Their social network was their street. And their biggest algorithm was life itself. Because of this, one powerful psychological trait formed inside them. They could sit for hours doing nothing, just observing life. They could play with a wooden toy for months. They could listen to stories for hours without touching a screen. This ability to sit with their own mind made them more patient, less reactive, more thoughtful, and far more emotionally stable. A child of the 1970s didn't need constant stimulation. They didn't need dopamine hits every 20 seconds. They didn't need something new to stay interested. They grew up with simplicity, and simplicity gave them strength. But that strength came with a cost. When you grow up in silence, you learn to hide your loudest feelings. If you talk to someone who grew up in the 70s, you'll notice something. They never complain. They never ask for help. They never show when they're hurting. Why? Because back then, vulnerability was considered weakness. Crying was shameful. Sadness was private. Pain was personal. The children of that era were trained, not by parents, but by life itself, to stay quiet even when their heart was breaking. And this created a psychological habit. People from the 1970s feel everything, but express almost nothing. They carry their storms inside. They solve their problems alone. They break silently. They heal quietly. And then they show up the next day as if nothing happened, not because they don't feel, but because they were raised to endure. They learned, life won't stop for your pain, so neither should you. It sounds strong, but it's also heartbreaking, because emotional silence is a heavy burden, one they carry even today. Ask anyone who grew up in the 1970s what they did after school. They'll say something like, I helped my father. I took care of my younger siblings. I went to work. I looked after the house. Responsibilities started early, very early. A child in that era wasn't treated like a child. They were treated like a small adult who had duties. This created a powerful trait. To them, work comes before comfort. Duty comes before desire. Family comes before self. Sacrifice comes before happiness. They don't wait for motivation. They don't expect life to be easy. They don't avoid responsibility. They run toward it. That's why today, many people raised in the 1970s feel frustrated with the modern world because everyone wants comfort. While they were raised on discipline, everyone wants instant success while they were raised on patience. Everyone wants freedom while they were raised on duty. They look around and think, things have changed too much. My discipline. People who grew up in the 1970s have a unique psychological relationship with money. They grew up in a time when money was hard to earn. People lived with less. Saving was survival. Wasting money felt sinful, so they developed. Even today, they save obsessively to fear being broke, hesitate before spending, just reuse everything. Repair instead of replace. They don't buy a new item because of trends. They buy it because the old one finally died. After years of loyal service, they value durability. They value necessity. They value practicality, because luxury was never an option, and security was never guaranteed. That fear shaped their psychology, and it still lives inside them. Now this is where the psychology of the 1970s becomes truly beautiful. If someone from that era loves you, they love you with loyalty that feels ancient. Their love is not modern, not fast, not temporary, not based on convenience. Their love is built like a house, brick by brick, with effort and time, with patience and sincerity. They don't fall in love often, but when they do, they stay. They stay longer than they should. They forgive more than they can. They sacrifice more than they admit. And they hold on long after everyone else has given up. Why? Because in the 1970s, relationships weren't options, they were commitments. People didn't replace, they repaired. They didn't quit, they endured. They didn't give up, they grew up. This is why people from that era often feel heartbreak twice as deeply, because they don't know how to love halfway. They only know how to love fully. There's something tragic about this generation. They are surrounded by people, yet feel alone, deeply alone. They carry grief they never shared, memories they never processed, regrets they never spoke about. They were too busy surviving to ever learn how to express emotions. So today, they sit quietly. They help everyone. They never burden others, and they never tell you how tired they really are. They're the generation that holds everyone together, yet has no one who asks them, "But who holds you?" People who grew up in the 70s don't age like others. They age with dignity, acceptance, wisdom. They don't run from age. They don't fear wrinkles. They don't chase youth. They've seen enough of life to know what truly matters. Stability, family, health, respect, peace. Meaning, time made them soft, but struggle made them strong. And that balance, strength wrapped in softness, is what makes this generation special. And after exploring all of this, I've realized something personal too. Every time I've met someone who grew up in the 1970s, I felt a strange depth in them, a quiet strength, a hidden pain, and a gentle wisdom that you rarely find today. It's as if their smile carries old stories, their silence carries unspoken battles, and their patience comes from a lifetime of surviving without complaining. And now I wonder, do you see yourself in this too? Are you one of those people whose childhood was tough, whose world was simple but heavy, whose heart learned responsibility before comfort, and whose emotions learned silence before expression? Because people from that era often walk through life quietly, not realizing how rare and remarkable they truly are. If you are one of them, then I want you to know this. Your story matters. Your strength is real. Your pain is understood. And the world is softer because people like you exist.